Hello, Bobcats. Mr. Flato here. I am back. We are back. It is a new school year, and wow, it's been a crazy, crazy 5, 6, however long months it has been. Welcome to another school year. On the first couple Bob lessons this year, I think it's very obvious where I would like to start with, which is just kind of having some reflections on what the last 5 or 6 months have been being in this pandemic, being out of school physically, um, wearing masks, people getting sick, people passing away. It's just been a really crazy 5 or 6 months. One of the things being a school counselor and just being a human being, I think it's really important that we sit back and we reflect on things and we process things and we talk about things. I think as human beings, we all need that to kind of sift through our thoughts and make sense of things and come up with a game plan of how we're going to move forward. And so, on the first couple of Bob lessons here to start the school year, I wanted to share my own reflections that I've had, 10 reflections that I've had through this pandemic, through coronavirus. Um, and myself and Miss Glucker are going to team up with some of your PE teachers and some of your health teachers, and we're going to for those of you that are in school, we're going to be able to sit down in small groups and kind of process how your experiences were. We're going to get some videos recorded for our DLI students so they can kind of be part of what was discussed. And I think that that's just a very appropriate way to start the 2020-2021 school year. Hoping for the best, trying to stay positive every day. Just got some great news on active cases the last time I looked today. Our cases are way down. That makes me super stoked. But anyways, let's get rock and rolling on part one of this Bob lesson, which is going to be titled 2020 Pandemic Reflections. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. First Bob lesson of this school year is 2020 Pandemic Reflections. But first, as always, let's be our best at HMS. Let's be Bob. Let's be safe. Let's be responsible. Let's be respectful. Let's be a learner. Usually, I put the quote of the weeks at the end of the Bob lesson, but this really is what the pandemic has been to me and kind of my line of thinking as a counselor and just as a human being all along, which is your reaction to adversity, not the adversity itself that determines how your life story will develop. I think adversity and persevering through things, and I'm going to talk about it on one of the slides, has been the key to this whole thing. Some of us have done a really good job of this. Some of us have done an okay job. Some of us have not done a very good job at all. And I know for me personally, I've been all over the board with my perseverance and my adversity through this whole thing. All right, reflection number one for me is the importance of structure in all of our lives. I know a lot of the conversations I had with kids, whether they realized it or not, you know, getting up every day, providing structure, having to be at school at 8:05, having 7 periods a day, having a bell ring to tell you when to transfer from one place to the other, having um, having adults there to help you, I think is so very important. I know for me, not having that structure of having to get up, take a shower, walk my dog, do breakfast, put on clothes, drive to school. I think that threw me off. And through this whole process, I was really trying to create structure as much as I could. And I know having structure and being physically back in the building here the last couple of weeks, it's really helped my mental health. Um, for those of you, phase one in DLI, we're really going to have to work on creating structure, getting up on time, and trying to keep as much structure as you can in all of your lives because I think what the pandemic has outlined to myself, to us, as school personnel, is how important that structure is in all of our lives. We've always known it, especially kids your guys' age, but I think it became very evident here with the shutdown. Reflection number two. I know for me, it's a renewed gratitude for normal everyday life. I think sometimes in life, I've observed that when things go wrong, it makes you really appreciate when things are going well or when things are just going normal. I know for me, I would love nothing more than to get back and have normalcy here with seeing the kids at the front door high five and give fist pounds, seeing kids without masks, just doing my job like I normally do it, or being able to go different places in the community and not wear a mask or have that fear of getting sick. But I do know, one of my slides is going to say this, we will get back to a new normal someday. And I know when we do, I know me personally that I'm going to have a renewed gratitude for what that is. And I really encourage all of you to dig deep and then find your gratitude as well. Reflection number 3, the importance of a healthy lifestyle and self-care. And myself, Miss Glucker, PE teachers, and the health teachers, when you kids get back in school, like the second week, we're going to kind of do a little round table. And I know one of the things that became very evident to me in my own personal life and with talking with students is we have wonderful health teachers that outline healthy lifestyle of getting enough sleep, eating properly, getting exercise, getting away from the screen time, and all these things that are super important for your mental health. And I know that those things were more important than ever when we were in lockdown, when we were in quarantine, and even as we continue to work through this pandemic. I know myself finding exercise and having a routine and eating and my sleep. And once that stuff started getting thrown off, I noticed my mental health was thrown off. A lot of conversations I had with kids over the quarantine, they were really struggling. And I think everybody struggled on some level. And when I said, well, what time are you going to bed? Well, super late. What time are you waking up? Late in the morning. How is your eating habits? Don't eat very well. How much exercise are you getting? None. Are you going outside and getting some sunshine and fresh air? Not enough. Are you connecting with people in a healthy, socialized way? No. All these things really, really, really matter. And I think that there's one thing that this pandemic has outlined is it is the importance of healthy lifestyle and self-care. And hopefully through this pandemic, some of you have learned more about yourself and how important that stuff is. Reflection number 4, too much technology isn't so much fun after all, is it? 7th and 8th graders, I know I talk a lot about, usually I start with a Bob lesson on technology and how it's not healthy for us and how we need in-person socialization. We need to connect in person, and that has been a huge part of this quarantine. As human beings are social creatures, we are meant to be together. We are meant to socialize and spend time in person. And as technology has evolved, it's been probably a good thing through this pandemic because it's allowed us a little bit to stay entertained, to do our schoolwork, to do our work for adults, and separate and still be productive human beings. It's given us the tools to be productive human beings in a safe manner using technology. But I think one of the things that's also outlined is too much technology is really detrimental to our mental health and our health in general. We need to try to find that balance of getting up, getting active, getting fresh air, having some safe social interactions in person if that's possible, whether it's from a distance, with masks on, so on and so forth. That was a huge reflection for me during this period. And reflection number 5, my last one of this Bob lesson, and I'll finish up with the other 5 next week. Again, is kind of that same thing. In-person socialization matters a lot. Once again, we are social beings. Some of us are more introverted, some of us are more extroverted. I know for me, my mental health was really struggling when I couldn't hang around my friends and couldn't hang around my people, even being around students every day. How much that lifts my spirit, being around other human beings that are that are less than half my age. There's something about that just is good for my mental health. And hanging around people and friends that are my age, I think that stuff matters. And that's one thing that I've really reflected on as you take that away, you kids not being able to see your friends in person, how important that is to your mental health. So hope you all are doing very well. Thank you for tuning in this Bob lesson. This is going to be the new spot this year where they are posted. Hope you guys can find them, and I hope you guys take time every week to sit down and use these Bob lessons as a tool for your own reflection, your own connection, your own mental health, your own learning. Talk to y'all soon.